Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from our studios here at Kokomlemle in Accra on digital address GA0993341 on Joy 99.7 FM is also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by UMB Bank, UMB Speed App, Digibank, Let's Go, Telesol 4G, proudly Ghanaian, Telesol, Just a Touch, and Mark Auto Parts Ghana, distributors of Isuzu and Chevy cars. Mark Auto Parts Ghana with you for the long run. Coming up in this edition, anger at Transport Minister's failure to give definite timelines for completion of bridges on Medina Adenta Highway, now stained with the blood of over 192 pedestrians knocked and killed by speeding vehicles.
The issue of the Adenta Bridge tells you 100% that our politicians are selfish, they are greedy.
Also in this bulletin,
example like management living, we have to do 4 topics, but only treated only 3 topics. That the rest, we will go and prepare notes on that, learn our own. So when we come back, we will continue.
Highs and lows of Green Track as first batch of students on double track system complete their term. We'll get updates from our reporters across the country and hear from the Ghana Education Service. Opposition NDC demands reinstatement of suspended Eastern Regional Director of the Economic and Organised Crime Office as they accuse the presidency of victimization. We'll speak live with NDC General Secretary. Wife of the former president of the Ghana Football Association, Kwesi Nyantakyi, says her husband was put under a spell by those who entrapped him into receiving a bribe, captured in number 12 documentary. And later in the bulletin, weird but true, we'll tell you how Newtown residents bath seawater to escape mysterious death. All that and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. We settle for the details now, and Transport Minister Kwesi Amoakwata has attracted public eye after failing to give a definite date on which footbridges on the Adina Madenta Highway will be fixed. The past year has been a bloody one for residents of the 2 communities as 192 people crossing the highway have been knocked down and killed. Many of these were children who were crossing the road to school, with one school reporting 4 of its pupils have been hit. On PM Express last night, this resident expressed shock at what appears to be the negligence on the part of government and its appointees responsible for the area.
The issue of the Adenta Bridge tells you 100% that our politicians are selfish, they are greedy. I didn't want to bring in the issue of Honorable Anda. When Honorable Anda had an accident, they used the Air Force helicopter to ferry him to a hospital. First, governance in Ghana has become animal farm, where the politicians and elitists live on the blood of the people. So you find a deputy minister being ferried in an helicopter, and then you find an area, a part of Accra, where a car knocks down a pedestrian, and then we will have to rush the pedestrian into a taxi. You send, you drive, we take this pedestrian to the hospital. There will be no beds, there will be no trauma surgeon, there will be no beds. The pedestrian, the family will have to roam the whole entire hospital trying to get a card.
But today, the Transport Minister, Kwesi Amoakwata, while explaining what government was doing about this deadly reality, appeared peeved to respond to a question on when the footbridges will be completed.
The contractors are back. Are on the Kwapukrum Apiga Road. They are remobilizing. And as I did say, that within 2 months, they will come back because we had negotiated with them and we had gone far and we had reached an agreement. Yes, it did happen. They came back. And there are issues relating to that. That's why I'm saying that it's not as easy as that. And
so when are they expected to finish the footbridges?
I will speak to that when I come back. Daniel, please don't push me to. I say I will speak to that. Simple. When I come back. Thank you very much.
You heard the Transport Minister Kwesi Amoakwata on the Super Morning Show earlier today. Well, some callers expressed worry about the deaths and government's perceived failure to fix the problem with urgency.
Someone needs to be held accountable.
Right.
And the Minister of Roads and Highways needs to respond to these issues and not gets angry at the questions that you're throwing at him.
They relinquish that responsibility and start telling stories. Projects are hanging for over 3 years and people are dying. I don't know if any of them knows how it feels to lose someone you know, or even see someone you don't know die. It takes a lot of humanity to understand that. And if you have a mandate to see to it that things are being done, and you are making excuses for it not being done, and you are being asked, I remember hearing the minister say, don't push him. Why shouldn't you push him? At least, I don't know anything, but my layman's knowledge tells me when the contract is being given out, there are timelines.
I don't think the media is making a mountain out of the issue. We should be making enough noise so our voice can be heard. I think that the people of Oyibi and Dodowa and Adenta, the people living on that stretch, have been taken for granted for far too long.
You heard there some worried listeners of the Super Morning Show. They're demanding action to fix bridges on the Adenta-Medina Highway. Let's turn our attention now to education, because the senior high school students across the country who were placed on the green track are today packing up to return home as they complete their term under government's double track policy that ends today. This paves way for those on the gold track to go to school next week. The double track system was introduced by government this year to shore up enrollment at the secondary school level. A total of 193,996 students were put on each track for the first semester. We'll be touching base with our reporters who have visited some schools across the country. But let's start here in Accra, because my colleague Maxwell Agbagba was at the Accra Girls Senior High School and now joins us in the studio. Maxwell, what did you see when you went to Accra Girls School?
The Accra Girls School looked very busy on a Tuesday morning when we visited. A lot of the students had gathered on the compound of the school with their belongings, waiting for their parents to actually come and take them home. We saw a lot of parents also entering at exactly 8 o'clock. They were able to pack their belongings and then they left the campus. But you got the opportunity to speak to some officials of the school. What exactly have they been telling you? Well, they have been lauding the initiative. They say that this double track has helped to reduce congestion in the classrooms. The assistant headmaster of Accra Girls, Prince Angote, when I spoke to him, he said previously a class could take up to about 60 students, but now they're taking about 30 because of the double track.
Accra Girls, we didn't have challenges. You see, all these boils down on preparations. This is a new policy that is being implemented. We have had trainings for preparation of timetable, allocation of PUS, and for a number of days. So based on the orientation we have had, we have been able to put plans in place. There were occasions we had as much as 68 students in the class. Okay. This time we have as low as 39 students, yes, depending on the program. You know, students' interest also counts. Yeah. So it's like that. So we are talking about a full semester. This is just half semester. Okay. And from the beginning up to this time, we have schemes of work we have prepared to work with. So there are timelines. You prepare the schemes according to your strength and according to the expectations at the end of the program. So when someone says they are not able to finish syllabus, I don't know where.
Okay, I think maybe they want to talk about the targets that you set for yourself. You know, before the term begins, you want to finish with, let's say, 6 topics. Were you able to finish with those topics?
You set the targets. When you set, you see, it is. We're talking about professionalism. Yeah. You set targets based on time duration and resource availability. Okay. So you don't set a target to achieve 10 things when you have time that can make you achieve 6.
Maxwell, how about parents and guardians? What have they been saying?
Well, they are also happy about the initiative. They say that they would be, during this time that their children will be at home, they'll be monitoring them, ensuring that they revise their notes and ensure that they go over everything that they've done, you know, in the past. Yeah.
Now, he has to go back to review his notebook, read it, and make sure he understands before he comes back. Because you know, this time is the time duration, as the assistant headmaster said, was not as they were expecting. It was a half of it, and they were able to achieve their part. So within this period, I think I also have to also monitor my sister back at home. This should not be a holiday for her, going out and all those things, but she has to always stick to their books and learn, and when the time is up, she comes back again and come and produce what she's expected to produce.
So that's the situation at the Accra Girls Senior High School. Let's head to the Central Region. Our correspondent Richard Kojo Nyako also visited some schools and joins us on the line. So Kojo, you visited a number of schools in the Central Region. What can you report?
Well, for some of the first-year students on the green track have started going home, whereas many of them
having their last day of classes before the break. So the indication is that those that will not finish early would go home tomorrow. And the instruction by school authorities I've gathered on and I've interacted with indicate that they should not leave anything of theirs in the school because their places would be taken over by those that are coming on Friday. That is the people that are supposed to be on the GO track. And so when I visited the bus terminals, they were full, and I could see some of the students packing everything, their trunks and their chop boxes and other things. And so that is really what's happening here. When I interacted with some of the students, they told me that, well, some of them were able to have or complete the syllabus earmarked for the first phase of the semester. But
so that's the situation in the central region with our correspondent, Richard Kojonyako. Ivy Setoji is our Volta regional correspondent. She joins us to get a sense of the situation in that part of the country. So, Ivy, you've been to the Mount Zion College. What have you gathered from students and teachers regarding their experience?
Yes, I've been to the Zion College in Angloga, and teachers, what they are complaining of, that's the headmaster, is the unavailability of classroom blocks to cater for these students. They want enough classroom blocks, those that are under construction to be completed so that they can cater for these people. According to him, aside the classroom problems, everything is going on smoothly. But I spoke with some of the students. Some of them told me they don't like the double track.
That's our Volta regional correspondent, Ivy Setoji. Now, so as some laud the initiative, others have expressed concerns about challenges associated with it. In today's edition of Joy News Agenda, Martina Bugri speaks to students under the green track who say they have to take extra classes elsewhere in order to be able to complete the just-ended semester.
The students told Joy News the teachers who were racing against time to finish their syllables before the semester exams end rushed over teaching, making it difficult for them to understand. A first-year student of the Ghana Senior High School said it was difficult for her to cope.
But as for the food, no problem. Only the stages, how to study. Everybody, the teachers, they said that we don't have enough time, so they want to doing everything sharp so that we go, and when we go home we study and attend classes, because a master we have to do example like management living, we have to do 4 topics but only treated only 3 topics, that the rest we will go and prepare notes on that, learn on our own and do some few exercises, so when we come back we will continue.
Some other students from the Vitin Senior High School said they will have to depend on extra tuition when they go home.
We just understand some of the topics because we are in hurry and we cover our topic.
How many topics did you cover?
On biology, we cover
4 topics. So how do you intend to make up the rest?
For instance, we must look for teachers so that they can help us.
It's been difficult getting headmasters in some of the schools speak on the challenges they have faced for the first semester. Some have also warned their students not to talk to any stranger who would want to record them.
You shouldn't talk to any stranger. You are on your own, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, and they say you shouldn't talk to strangers.
Yes.
You heard there Martina Bugri with Joy News Agenda. Of course, we'll get some reactions from the Ghana Education Service as and when we're able to raise them here on the Midday News. Sounds from the Obra Sport here in Accra, where over 100 trainee teachers have been demonstrating over what they call imposition of policies on them by the Ghana Education Service. The teachers are kicking against a recent directive for them to undergo 1-year mandatory national service, having written their licensure exams in September. What this means is that the teacher trainees who used to undergo teaching practice will be posted by the National Service Secretariat for National Service. They are outraged as several attempts to meet the Education Ministry over the matter have failed. Nancy Emefa Dradosi joined the agitating teachers and spoke to some of them.
The government is frustrating our procedures. We know the normal thing that we used to do is that when we are done, we get posted by GS into the various basic school automatically. In February, we were directed by GS to register online with GS, such that our details will be with GS. We pay 10 cedis each. And then after completion, we were made to write licensure examination. And so we understood and we wrote the licensure examination. We were waiting for results. All of a sudden, on the 25th of October last month, you brought another directive that we should register with national service personnel. They are imposing their policies on us. And it is unfair on the part of the government to do that to us. The law is for us. And if you intend extending the national service policy to the colleges of education, you should take your time. Do consultations. Don't we do a teaching practice? Do they give us teaching practice materials? Do they give us allowances? No! Is that one not more than national service? That one alone is more than national service. So we use our own money to do everything. What we want the government to do for us right now.
You have there some of the teacher trainees there. They are currently marching towards the Haas Park. Let's speak to MFA Dradosi, who is marching with them. Nancy, has the demonstration ended, and who was the petition presented to?
Right, so MFA, we just actually touched down here at the Accra Hasselhoff Park here in Accra. The initial plan was that we were going to meet somebody here from the Vice President's office. But after speaking to some of the executives, they tell me that no, the plan was to meet here, and then the police will escort some of their members to the office of the Vice President. Nobody is here officially to receive the letter that they want to present. I have spotted DSP Kutifori. I've tried to engage him, but he does not speak. But he tells me that they are not aware of any arrangement to actually take these executives to the office of the president. They only know that we're bringing them here to the Accra Hasselhoff Park, MFA.
Nancy MFA Dradosi there. Let's go back to our earlier story on the double track system and the challenges fraught with it so far as the green track ends today. And we've been joined on the phone by the Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Education Service, Cassandra Chumampofu. Thank you very much for your time here on the Midday News. So just so we're clear, how long will the green track students be on vacation?
All right, good afternoon, MFA, and good afternoon to your listeners as well. Yes, the green track is vacating today, and so they would have their vacation period between the 8th of November to 4th of January, and so they are returning to school on the 5th of January.
Very well, but how many students are expected to be on the gold track, which begins on Monday?
MFA, for now, I will not be able to give you an accurate figure because as I speak to you, we have a few of them also have challenges with their placement and it's been resolved at the 3 secretariat. So as we put them on track as they go to school, we're hoping that by the end of the first week of the year, we would have gotten the accurate number to be able to talk to you about.
So I would assume that the gold track will be in school till the 4th of January?
Hello?
So the gold track will be in school up to 4th of January. Is that what it will be?
No, the gold, I said that the green track would have their vacation between the 8th of November to 4th January and then resume on the 5th of January. Gold track is going on the 10th. But again, we indicated on their placement form that they will be going to school on the 8th. And so we have communicated to the head that should somebody come earlier than the 10th, or from tomorrow somebody reports, they should admit the person, not to send the parents or the students away. So they are going to be in school from the 10th to the 28th of February 2019. For the gold track, they aren't going to do 40 days or 41 days like the green, but they are going to do their full first semester, which is the 81 days. So from the 10th November to 28th February, and then they will break for their first semester.
So when the gold track expires, what's next for both the green and the gold track? Hello, Cassandra.
Are you asking?
I'm asking exactly when the gold track also expires, what's next for both tracks? Well, that's some of the questions that the parents are posing to us.
MF, are you talking about the end of the year or the end of the semester?
At the end of both tracks, because green has ended, gold track will also go. Then when it expires, what's next for both tracks?
No, green track would come back on the 5th of January and then do its 81 days and end on the 5th of January to 1st of March.
Very well. We're grateful for your time. That's the Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Education Service, Cassandra Chum Ampofo. Now, away from that, wife of the former president of the Ghana Football Association, GFA, Kwesi Nyantakyi, says her husband was put under a spell by those who entrapped him into receiving a bribe captured in the number 12 documentary. The documentary, authored by investigative journalist Anas Aremiyawa Nas, highlighted corrupt acts by some personalities in the football industry. Mr. Nyantakyi is being investigated by police, but speaking to Paula Dumotre on Metro TV's Good Evening Ghana program, his wife, Christine Nyantakyi, says her husband was put under a spell.
I've not gathered the courage to watch the full video. Because the small that I watched, I knew that is not my husband. The way he's talking is not my husband. Something might have gone wrong. So I have not had the courage to watch the full video.
Something like what? Alcohol?
I don't know what they did to him. My husband is a very skeptical person. I mean, you don't just get him to follow you or do things like that.
He's very skeptical.
He doesn't follow people like that.
So incantations, juju, medicine?
Yeah.
She added that the person she saw in the video taking bribes was not the husband she knew.
Apparently, we became so desperate when we realized that all that, were presented to us were false. So we tried to make some interventions, and they proposed that he pay some money. They proposed $150,000. My husband couldn't afford $150,000. So he gave us $100,000. And they came back to him and said, the person says, you need to add $50,000. And said, well, I don't have. So that's all that I have.
Kwesi Nyantakyi's wife also rebuffed claims that her husband is rich. She says her husband is not as wealthy as media reports suggest.
You see, contrary to what people think, my husband does not have money.
So that's going to be difficult for people to believe.
I know.
GFA president, the longest serving GFA president. I mean, he obviously must have, he's at FIFA and he's at CAF. And
you see, there are certain things that if somebody has money, you can judge.
Yeah.
Your residence.
Wait.
Where the person lives. The kind of house he lives. The kind of car he drives. People should take time and come and see where we live. If my husband has that kind of money, we wouldn't be living there. My husband has been a lawyer for more than 25 years.
Oh yeah, that's true. He's been at the bar for more than 25 years.
Yes. So that house that Kwesi has is his personal money that he used to build. If Kwesi has money, like the way people think he has, that's not where
But you have a school.
Christine Nyantakyi is wife of former president of the Ghana Football Association, Kwesi Nyantakyi. This is the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. Stories we've covered so far: anger at Transport Minister's failure to give definite timelines for completion of bridges on Medina Adenta Highway, now stained with the blood of over 192 pedestrians knocked and killed by speeding vehicles. When we return from the break, we are fact-checking with sports, and later, weird but true, we'll tell you how Newtown residents bath seawater to escape mysterious deaths. We're right back after the break.
Let's go,
My name is Kwame Sefakai, and most of you know me as a media personality. But I am also a family man. The UMB mobile banking app, UMB Speed App, saves me so much time by letting me do almost all of my banking transactions on my phone. The cardless withdrawal feature allows me to withdraw cash from any UMB ATM without an ATM card. I can also pay bills, transfer money, request for a loan, invest money, and so much more. So now, I can spend less time at the bank and more time with the ones I love. Bank anywhere and anytime with a UMB mobile banking app, UMB Speed App, and get the time to do what you love most. Download the UMB Speed App from your Android, iOS, or Windows phone today. Call 0302-633-988 for more information. UMB Speed App, Digibank, let's go!
Welcome back. It's time now for sports. Benedict?
Yes, semi-finals. Exactly 10 days to the African Women's Championship here in Ghana. Our team, the Black Queens, are preparing for the competition which they've been tasked to host and win. Well, this afternoon, They will take on Kenya at the Kasarani Stadium in a pre-tournament game. And ahead of the game, coach of the side Bashir Hayford is hoping to record a good result and also build a solid team for the competition.
Next week will be at the bottom. It depends upon what you put in for the period. So we are not underrating anybody. And we don't think any team is, we are superior than any team. Fortunately or unfortunately, I cannot assess Kenyans now because I've not played them ever since I took over as a head coach for the national team. This is the first match that I will play and make sure I grade the two, Ghana and Kenya. After that, when you ask me anything about them, I can say both teams are preparing for African Cup of Nations.
All right, so that's Bashir Hayford. He is coach of the Black Queens team. Well, favorites to win this year's competition, Nigeria have named their squad as well as South Africa. Well, some bit of boxing, and Wasiu Mohammed has been adjudged winner of the WBO Africa Junior Featherweight Championship, which ended in chaos at the Bukum Boxing Arena last month. If you remember, there was an absolute chaos at the arena after Beninois referee Adum Betin declared Wasiu Mohammed as a controversial winner of the bout, which involved Isaac Saki and Wasiu. We'll definitely bring you more on this in our subsequent sports bulletins. But yesterday, MFA, you watched the UEFA Champions League. You saw how Red Star Belgrade dealt with Liverpool, and also Napoli drew 1-1 with Paris Saint-Germain. And Barca actually became the first team to qualify for the next stage of the competition, despite their 1-1 draw with Inter Milan. Tonight, here on Joy 99.7 FM, George Addy Jr. and Gary Asmith will be here with commentary of the game involving Manchester United. That's a very big one.
Game.
Yeah, Manchester United up against Juventus, as well as other games. Will bring you updates. Bayern Munich, AEK Athens. There will be Benfica, Ajax, also Lyon, Hoffenheim, and we'll have Manchester City, Shakhtar Donetsk, Moscow, Roma, as well as Victoria Pleasant and Real Madrid and Valencia Young Boys, all in action tonight.
Thank you very much. Benedict, of course, will stay for that live commentary. It's time now for fact-checking. And today we're focusing on some claims made by the Majority Leader and Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, Osei Mensah Bonsu, when he reacted to Kumpungu MP's concerns about hardship in the country yesterday. And we will fact-check the Minority Leader soon, but let's first go to Parliament and speak to correspondent Joseph Opoku Gakpo. Joseph, do we know if the Kumpungu MP rode the bicycle to Parliament today? Hello, Joseph.
Hello, Mifa.
Did the Kumpungu MP ride to Parliament today?
And so he left the bike here in Parliament last night because he indicated that he had to catch an Uber in order to get to his house because the weather was not in good shape. He's back in the house today. I've spotted him, and the bicycle is also parked here in Parliament. He's indicated that later today he would ride on it home as he continues to gather more experiences on having to be on the road as a cyclist.
Well, so that's the latest from that. But let's now fact-check the Majority Leader's claim that the price of fuel is about 80% per barrel.
Today, the price of fuel, petrol, is in the region of 75, 76. Sometimes it even shoots up to about $80 per barrel.
What's the verdict on that, Raymond?
This is true. Average Brent crude price for the period you are dealing with increased by approximately 2% to 78.11 per barrel in the second week of September 2018. This was up from 24.43 from the same time last year. It also represented a 15% increase from the first week of the year. Of course, we do know that average Brent crude for September saw a month-on-month increase of 7%, the third highest in 2018.
So he also said that fuel prices were between $37 to $40 at the time of the exit of the NDC.
At the time of the exit of the NDC, price of fuel was between $37 and $40, right?
The verdict?
This is false. The NPS report on oil markets for the week ending January 2017 states that the average dated Brent price for the week published by Platts decreased marginally by $0.20 to $55 per barrel from the previous week's average $55.21 per barrel, representing a 0.37% decrease and not between 37 and 40, as the minister stated.
Now, let's take a walk down to Newtown, because we are told that residents of Tema Newtown are bathing at the beach in a bid to be purged of what they describe as mysterious debts that has hit the town. Residents are attributing the debts to an alleged stealing of the emblem of traditional worship and a cloth. To prevent more debts, they are heeding the advice of the chief of Tema Newtown, Ni Ajay Kraku II, to birth in the sea at a fee of 1 cedi.
Someone stole the chief priest's gold and kente cloth, so he cursed all of us. Now we have to bath in the sea.
He said some people have stolen some things and the priest cursed the town, and some people have even died. We have to bathe in the sea to cleanse ourselves.
Interesting developments there. We'll bring you more later in our subsequent bulletins. But just before we go, what's trending on social media, Maps?
Well, people are still talking about the Adenta Medina Road, and this one is from Ray Wilson, who says, the road minister is pissing me off. Does he want to tell us work comes to a halt because he's out of the country? Should people continue to die on the Medina Adenta highway because you're out of the country? God have mercy. It's obviously clear that our leaders don't think about us. And at Guda Tago says, it's either they fix the Accra Tema Motorway Road or we won't pay toll again, period. And the last one I'm going to take is from at AB Kweku, who says, it's amazing how a minister of state shows such thin skin when being questioned about when they're going to complete footbridges to save lives. After over 190 people have been needlessly killed on the Adenta Medina Road, elsewhere, he would have resigned long ago.
Things will definitely change. And that's it for the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Memefa Apau. Thanks so much for your company.